This sounds like
No. What is up, people?
Salam alaikum and welcome to another episode of Middle Eats London. Cool, so in this episode we're not actually going to be eating anything. We're going to be drinking, so we're doing a coffee episode.
Yeah, coffee is a massive part in our lives, as well as part of this channel, because we're all about food, coffee and culture. So in this episode we're going to be talking about two different roasts. What's your roast, Pete?
Beans I'm using, they're a single origin coffee, specialty grade. It's from Colombia. It's natural process coffee, super light, super fruity, a lot of different flavours that you wouldn't necessarily associate with coffee going to be going on. And I'm going to be brewing them in an Aeropress. It's super cheap. You can pick these up for I think about £25. Yeah, really good little gadgets for making really nice coffee in.
What I'm doing, I'm going to be doing the coffee Arabica? How do you call it in English? Coffee Arabica? Coffee Arabia?
If we talk about Arabica, that's like
Arabica.
a type of coffee though.
Yeah.
We call this
is Yemeni.
Arabic coffee.
Okay, so I will be making Arabic coffee. A little history about Arabic coffee.
Love the history lesson.
Love the history lesson. And so in the 15th century, Yemenis are the first people who ever drank coffee. And they used to get their coffee beans from, can you guess?
From Ethiopia.
From Ethiopia and Sudan. First people who has ever done coffee were Ethiopia and Sudan. But then, the first people who ever drank the coffee, because that makes a lot of difference. There's a difference between me making it and drinking it. So, the first people who ever drank the coffee, it is.
It can't be, because you telling me Ethiopians grew coffee, produced coffee, and then did drink it?
No.
A lot of like urban legend around coffee. Like there's a lot of sort of origin stories about how like a goat farmer saw his goats eating coffee and that's how coffee was discovered. But I think it's all bullshit.
Let's crack on. Pete, what are you gonna do now? Tell us.
Gonna make some coffee. Cool, first things first, get your coffee. When you're buying coffee, I just recommend go somewhere local to you. If you're in London, there's tons of really good specialty roasteries offering lots of good products. We've got some redemption roasters today. First things first, I've got whole bean coffee here, so we're gonna need to grind it.
Okay, but first, can we agree that the Arabic coffee is way more tastier?
Definitely not.
I agree. So without Arabs, you guys won't be drinking coffee.
No, I don't dispute that.
Well, thank you very much. Go ahead now.
Okay, so this is a Wilfer Start grinder. This is what I use at home.
Oh, don't touch my stuff, please. Thank you very much.
In my way. Yeah, basically, I'd always recommend you use a burr grinder, and you grind right before you're going to brew. If you don't have a burr grinder or you have a blade grinder, those ones that are basically just blenders, then just buy a pre-ground and it's going to taste better. But yeah, ideally get yourself a burr grinder or like a hand grinder. I've got one of both actually.
But I remember when Pete used to make us coffee using his hand grinder, so he'll wake up really early before us and then spends like half an hour maybe.
Yeah.
Just to grind for like 4 people.
Yeah, that's a hand grinder. They do a job. They produce a pretty good grind, but this is obviously a lot easier. One of these is like £30–40. One of these is, I don't know, £120, something like that. So it's a bit of an investment, but for me it's definitely worth it. First things first, we're going to weigh out our coffee. This is like a sort of my go-to recipe for a coffee. I don't know, so I might tweak some stuff depending on the coffee I'm using, but this is just a basic recipe that will produce pretty good results for most sort of light, medium specialty grade coffees. So we've got 14 grams coffee. On the grinder, you can see it's marked here Aeropress. I'm actually just going to go slightly coarser than it recommends. So this is probably like a medium to medium fine grind. It's sort of really hard to describe grind, but I'll try and give you a close-up of what it looks like after I've ground it. So we've got our ground coffee. I'm going to take our Aeropress. It's just 3 parts to an Aeropress. So you've got your main like brewing chamber, you've got your plunger, and then you've just got your filter holder, I guess I'd call it. What we're going to do, put a filter in there, and then I'm just going to rinse my filter with just tap water is fine. You could use boiling water out of kettle, but you don't need to. I'm just going to use hot tap water. So we've got our rinsed paper filter, and then we're just going to screw that bit on. Pop it on top of whatever you're brewing into, just a mug in this case. And then we can put our ground coffee in. So I'll try and give you so you can sort of see the texture of that. It's yeah, it's reasonably fine, but not like super espresso fine. So a lot of people will tell you to use cooler water for brewing, and I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying my preference is to use pretty much boiling water. I think it's a lot more repeatable and controllable. So the kettle is just boiled. We're going to go straight in with 200 grams of water. And then I'm just going to give it a stir. Pop this bit in and pull it up a little bit. That's just going to create a vacuum seal so that all the water doesn't go just straight through. And then the other thing I've done is I've just started a timer. There's one built into my scales, but you could use, you know, a watch or the phone or whatever. And I'm just going to wait until it hits 1 minute 30 seconds. Just going to release that, give it another stir. And then we're going to pop it back on, and then we're going to plunge. You just want to plunge nice and slowly, so it'll probably take about 30 seconds-ish to plunge all the way down. There shouldn't be like loads of resistance. If it's really hard to push, then just coarse up your grind a little bit next time. And that is it, we're done.
Yeah, that smells good. Let's taste.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of professionals when they're tasting coffee, they'll be doing something called cupping, which is basically just brewing filter coffee. But they'll taste off a spoon. So they'll get a good amount of coffee on a spoon, and then they're gonna slurp it. Very similar to like wine tasting. It's called retro inhalation. It basically is about coating your whole palate and also getting the sense of smell involved by coating the back of your throat. So yeah, something like this.
Yeah, that's good. Now it's my turn to do coffee. So it is quite simple, it's quite quick. All we need is water, coffee, and some cardamom. So whole cardamoms is what we're using. Okay, so I've used here is a 1 cup of water. When it boils, just turn it down a bit, and then just add nice full tablespoons of coffee. Okay, then add a tiny bit of cardamom. Just like stir it. Okay, that's done. Just with Arabic coffee, by the way, you get to choose if you want to add sugar to it or not. But the thing is, with Arabic coffee, you have to add the sugar. You have to make a decision about adding the sugar or not while you're doing it.
tastes very roasty.
It's dark. It is a dark roaster though.
Yeah, you've got the cardamom comes through. That's nice. Like most of the aroma is cardamom. And then the texture's sort of funny because it's not. I was expecting it to be like super thick and syrupy. It's not. It's got the same texture as like a filter coffee.
Yeah. It's like you get to control how heavy, like how thick you want it.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, hit
like,
share,
and subscribe.
give us a follow on Instagram. Should be here. At Middle East LDN.
Leave a comment in the section below. Tell us what you think. Tell us what's your favorite coffee beans and what do you prefer. And also activate the bell because we're going to be dropping a video every Thursday. Ma salama.
Salama. So then give it a quick rinse and you're done. Cleaning one of these takes like maybe 15 seconds.